A childhood photo, a screenshot of their messages, and a mirror selfie she took in my bathroom. That was their final supper. It doesn't scream, it doesn't bleed, it just lingers, quiet and slow like rust on something you once thought was solid. That's how it started with me. Little things, the way my husband Lucas stopped meeting my eyes when he talked, the way my sister Nina started showing up less, and then suddenly, too often, how they never spoke to each other directly but somehow always seemed to be in sync. I'd say, "Wasn't Nina supposed to come over?" And Lucas would shrug, "I think she cancelled." Then I'd check my phone and see no message, or I'd catch her staring at him not lovingly, but guarded, guilty. And every time I brought it up, they both had the same response. "You're imagining things." I've always been sensitive. It's what people call you when you notice too much. When your instincts speak louder than logic, and your gut screams before your brain catches up. Growing up, Nina used to call me owl eyes. She said I blinked too slowly, that I stared too hard, that I saw things I wasn't supposed to see. Back then, it felt like a joke. Now, it felt like a warning. One night, I told Lucas, "I feel like something's off." We were brushing our teeth, side by side in the mirror. He paused, spit, and said, "Not this again." Again? He rolled his eyes. "You keep doing this, love. Reading into things. Making stuff up. You need to let it go. Let it go." As if my marriage, my home, my reality, was just some bad thought I could shake off. I tried talking to Nina. She laughed. "You think I'm the problem? God, you've always been dramatic." I said, "You two act weird around each other." She crossed her arms. "Weird how?" I hesitated. "Like you're hiding something." She stared at me for a long second, then tilted her head and said, "Maybe you should talk to someone." And just like that she made me the unstable one, the jealous wife, the insecure sister, the problem. For a while, I believed them. I told myself I was overthinking. I journaled, meditated, stopped bringing up Nina's name at all. But the feeling never left. It followed me from room to room, sat next to me at the dinner table, laid between us in bed, until one night, it screamed. It was late. Lucas was asleep. His phone buzzed once, just once on the nightstand. He didn't wake up. I reached for it without thinking. The screen lit up. One notification. New message from B. Just B. The letter. No emoji. No last name. But something about it made my heart drop. B. That was my childhood nickname for Nina. No one else knew it. I hadn't called her that in years. I opened the message. "B. Can't stop thinking about last night. You smell like her shampoo." My vision blurred. I blinked. Reread it. Once. Twice. Then I locked the phone, put it back on the nightstand, and sat there next to his sleeping body completely still. Because in that moment, everything clicked. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just watched him breathe, watched the man I married sleep peacefully after lying to me with my own sister. And I made a choice. If they wanted to make me look crazy, I'd give them calm, I'd give them silence, and I'd make sure they never saw it coming. Pronta pra Part 2? Maravilha, Aquivema Part 2. On a protagonistas I do choki kamia a plainter kama quil sil ansio estrat gico qop blico adora. Tenso emotional crescenti irrevoltas a caminho. I just laid there, eyes open, facing the ceiling, listening to Lucas breathe. I wondered how many nights he had done the same, pretending to sleep beside me, while thinking of her, my sister. The betrayal wasn't just romantic. It was layered, deep, family, blood, home. And somehow, they both made me feel like the unstable one, the dramatic wife, the jealous sibling, the problem. But not anymore. That night, I stopped doubting myself, and started watching them. I began with Nina. She always had excuses. Work's been crazy. I was going to call, but I figured you needed space. I've been dealing with my own stuff. But suddenly, she wanted to meet for coffee, said she was worried about me. I smiled, said I'd love that, and I recorded everything. We sat across from each other at our usual cafe, the one we used to go to every Saturday before she started pulling away. She asked how I was feeling. I said, honestly, lonely. She tilted her head with fake concern. That's normal in marriage. Don't overthink it. I said, sometimes I wonder if Lucas really loves me. She laughed a little too hard. Of course he does. You're just sensitive. There it was again. That word. Like poison wrapped in concern. Lucas, por out rolado. Fica mais cuidadoso. Como apagar mensagens. Desligar o celular no banho. Levar o laptop at pra usar o banheiro. Mas o já tinha o que precisava. Aquela primeira mensagem de B. Printada. Guardada. Enviada para um e-mail que ele não sabia que eu tinha. Nos dias seguintes, eu observe as roupas que ele usava quando ia à academia, as horarios que Nina ficava offline, as conversas grupo que os dois evitavam se responder diretamente. Tudo como a se her. Uma noite, eu pedi o celular emprestado. Preciso pedir Uber. O meu travu. Ele hesitou por meio segundo. Me entregou o aparelho com a tela ainda desbloqueada. Eu fingi digitar. En cuanto hizo, abrí as fotos recientes segundo plano. Ele tinha apagado quase tudo. Quase. Uma imagem estava escondida numa pasta dentro do app de notas. Uma selfie. Nina no espelho do nosso banheiro. Vestindo minha camiseta. A legenda. Should I leave this here or take it with me? Mu corpo fico gelado. Mas mu rosto. Continuo sorrindo. Obrigada. You dis. Devolvendo o telefone. Ele me beijou na testa. E naquele momento, eu soube com certeza. Eles não estavam apenas me traindo. Eles estavam me subestimando. Comecei mu plano no dia seguinte. Fui à casa da minha mãe. Peguei porta retrato antigo com uma foto minha e da Nina quando éramos crianças. Na parte de trás, escrito mo estava o apelido. B&Ls forever. Guardei aquilo como prova. Não es do apelido, mas da historia que eles estavam jogando fora. Eu não ia confrontá-los. Ainda não, porque isso não era mais sobre saber a verdade. Era sobre fazer com que eles encarecem o que fizerem sem poder fugir. E eu tinha a data perfeita para isso. Nosso jantar de aniversário. Cur seguir como part 3. 3 years. Lucas kept things casual, said we didn't need to go all out this year. He suggested takeout. A movie. Maybe a weekend trip later. When things calmed down. I said that sounded perfect. Smiled. Kissed him. Let him think I was happy. Let him think I was healing. He had no idea. Because while he worked late, I was working too on the final act. I started collecting pieces. Tiny details they never thought I'd notice. Like how Nina's perfume started showing up on his shirts. Not every time. Just enough. How he started wearing the cologne she liked, the one she once said smelled like confidence and sin. How his phone history had her Spotify playlists. Her favorite coffee order. A shared calendar invite labeled B-Day plan, not mine. Hers. Every little thing was fuel, but I wanted one last confirmation. Something undeniable. So, eu criei uma armadilha. Na semana do aniversário, enviei uma mensagem para Nina. Preciso de ajuda. Quero fazer uma surpresa pro Lucas. Ela respondeu em minutos. Claro. O que você precisa? Diz que queria escrever uma carta especial para ele, relembrando momentos importantes. E pedi que ela me ajudasse com datas. Detalhes, do ponto de vista de quem sempre esteve por perto. Ela Kyle direitinho. Me mando historias, lembranças. At situam fim de semana que ele supostamente estava viajando a trabalho como uma descrial detalhada do vinho que tomaram juntos. Mas o detalhe que me fez sorrir, ela diz, ele sempre repete a mesma frase quando te com raiva. You've got one chance. Aqui que es dizia para mim. Mas talvez diga para você também ars. A phrase. A mesma phrase que ele usa comigo meses antes. Durante uma discussão livre. Era pequeno. Mas grande o suficiente para derrubar tudo. No dia do jantar. Pedi que minha me visse comigo. Ela hesitou. Sabia que algo estava errado. Mas quando olhei nos olhos dela e disse, hoje eu enchero ciclo. Ela apenas respondeu. Então eu vou convocado fim. Reserve uma sala privada em restaurante discreto. Mesa para 5. You, Lucas, Nina, minha mãe, e o vazio que eles fingiam não existir. Lucas chegou primeiro. Beijou minha mão. Disse, you look beautiful. Eu respondi, você também. Nina chegou depois, surpresa. No ops. Faz português es bem observado. Vamos a gestar. Aqui esta parte 3 completa agora 100% inglês es global. Como mesmo tom emotional e cinematográfico do verso anterior. 3 years married. 7 years together. And just a few weeks away from the moment I would end it all quietly. Completely. And without a single raised voice. Lucas kept things casual. We don't need to go big this year, he said. Let's just order something in. Watch a movie. Maybe plan a getaway later. I smiled. That sounds perfect. He kissed my forehead. And I made a note of it, not the kiss, but the lie behind it. Because while he was working late, I was working too. On the final scene, I became 2 versions of myself. One that smiled and said I love you without flinching. And one that built a folder labeled Truth filled with screenshots, call logs, old photos, and her perfume receipt I found tucked inside his gym bag. They thought I didn't see it, but I saw everything. How his phone now had her favorite coffee order saved. How she started posting vague quotes about loyalty and secrets on her stories. How they were careful never to comment on each other's posts but always liked them exactly 3 minutes after they went up. I was done guessing. So I set the trap. I texted Nina, I want to surprise Lucas for our anniversary. Can you help? She answered in seconds. Of course. What do you need? I told her I was writing him a letter. Something romantic, personal, full of shared memories. And I said, you've known him for years. I want to include your perspective too. She loved it. Started sending me stories, details, moments she remembered better than I did. She told me about a weekend he claimed he was out of town, described the wine they drank, the movie they watched, said he was so different when he's relaxed. But then came the mistake. She wrote, he always says the same line when he's mad, you've got one chance. Thought I was the only one who heard that, lol. Except, he had said those exact words to me 2 months ago, during an argument about nothing. It wasn't a coincidence. It was muscle memory, and it confirmed everything. The night of the dinner, I asked my mom to come with me. She hesitated. She always knew something was off. But when I looked her in the eye and said, "I need you there when I close this chapter," she simply said, "Then let's end it with dignity." I booked a private room in a quiet restaurant. Table for 5. Me, Lucas, Nina, my mom, and the empty chair that would hold everything they didn't say. Lucas arrived first. He brought flowers, wore the watch I gave him on our honeymoon. "You look amazing," he said. I smiled. "You too." Nina came in 10 minutes later, surprised to see my mom. "Didn't know this was a group dinner," she said, laughing nervously. I handed them both small gift boxes. Identical, wrapped in white paper, tied with red ribbon. Lucas looked confused. "What's this?" I said. "Something to remember this year by." They opened them at the same time. Inside, a printed screenshot of the B message, a copy of the photo Nina took in our bathroom mirror, and a childhood photo of us, with my handwriting on the back. "I'll lies and be forever." Lucas looked up at me, pale. Nina said nothing, just stared. I stood up and said, "You didn't just lie to me. You broke something that took a lifetime to build. And now I'm here to return the favor quietly, completely, and with all the love I no longer owe you." Want to continue with part 4? Perfido. Acquivem part 4. Ondo impacto de confronto se espalha, as caras quimia protagonista comia e se liberter de vez. Com class, silencio e fora emotional crescenti. The reveal, the look on their faces, the silence after the truth drops like a bomb in the middle of the table. But nothing could have prepared me for the stillness. Lucas didn't speak, not right away. He just stared at the contents of the box like he couldn't process what was in front of him. "Nina?" She went pale. Her fingers trembled. But she didn't try to deny it, didn't even pretend to be shocked. That was the part that hurt most. Not the betrayal, not the lies, the indifference. She didn't cry, she didn't apologize. She just looked, annoyed, like I had ruined her night. My mom, on the other hand, leaned back in her chair, arms crossed, calm, like she'd known all along but waited for me to see it myself. She looked at Nina and said, "I warned you once. You never learn." Nina rolled her eyes. "Yes, Mom. I know I'm the disappointment. I expected anger, shouting, excuses. What I got was worse. Defensiveness and silence." Lucas finally cleared his throat. "I didn't mean for it to happen." I laughed. Not loud, not dramatic, just one dry, quiet sound. "You don't accidentally sleep with someone for months." He tried again. It was confusing. "Things with us weren't." I raised my hand. "You can stop. Really. This isn't a debate. It's a delivery." I picked up my purse, slid my keys across the table toward him. "The apartment's under my name. You'll have 48 hours to leave." He opened his mouth, closed it. Nina stood up, ready to follow me out. I turned to her, looked her straight in the eye, and said, "You were supposed to protect me from things like him not become him." That was the last time I saw them in the same room. The next day, I changed every password, filed for divorce, blocked both their numbers, deleted every photo that made me question my own memory. It wasn't easy. The hard part didn't come right away. It came a week later, when I walked past my sister's old hoodie in my closet. The one she left after a sleepover years ago. The one I used to wear when I missed her. Now I couldn't even touch it. People asked what happened. I told them the truth, the short version. They chose each other. I chose peace. Some were shocked. Some weren't. And one friend said something I'll never forget. "You handled that like it was a movie. I don't know how you didn't lose it." I smiled, because the old me would have screamed, begged, spiraled. But this me burned quietly, and rebuilt even quieter. But just when I thought the ashes had settled, a package arrived. No name, no note. Inside, a small glass owl, and a card. "I thought you might still want this. B, shall we finish with the final part 5? Perfido. Acquivem part 5 o desfico final. Comma entrega emotional. And Ceramento digno e uma phrase de impacto que fecha o ciclocom for a class." Wrapped in soft brown paper, tied with twine. No return address, just my name handwritten in a way that immediately told me who it was from. I didn't even have to open it to feel the weight of the past pressing against my chest. But I did, slowly. Inside was a glass owl, clear, delicate. The kind she used to buy me every year for my birthday when we were kids, back when allies still meant something innocent, before it became a curse. Underneath it was a card, just 4 words and a dash. "Thought you might want this." B, like nothing had happened, like all she broke could be mended with a token from the past. I placed the owl on the table, looked at it for a long time, then I wrapped it back up, walked outside, and dropped it into the trash. Because I didn't want a reminder of who we used to be. I wanted space to become someone else. That was 6 months ago. I haven't heard from either of them since. Lucas didn't fight the divorce, didn't send letters, didn't try to explain. I think even he knew there was no version of the story where he could look like anything other than what he really was. Nina? Well, I heard from a cousin that she moved away, somewhere far, quiet, fitting. She was always good at running, bad at rebuilding. As for me, I'm still here, still quiet, Still healing but not hiding. I moved into a smaller apartment, bought myself real wine glasses, started dancing alone in the kitchen again. I'm learning how to be mine again. Without him, without her, without the weight of anyone else's story pressed into my skin. Some nights are still heavy, but at least the silence is honest now. People say blood is thicker than water, but sometimes the cleanest thing you'll ever do is wash your hands of the people you used to call family. You don't need to scream to end a cycle. You just need to stop playing your part in it. Quietly, completely, and never look back.